Building a DIY kit can bring lots of fun, but are we able to paint it inside an apartment? Stick with me and you'll find it out. Welcome back, my friend budget tone chasers, to the third episode of our Harley Benton TL-T DIY Kit build series. I'm glad to have you back, and I believe this is going to be the most important episode of all, because we'll start preparing and painting the body. But before we dive into it, a quick recap of what we have till now. We have successfully defined how our guitar should look like and purchased all the upgrade pieces. Later, we prepared the guitar headstock shaping with the help of a jigsaw. We have also finished it with Crimson Guitar High Build Oil and adapted the tuner drilling for the vintage style ones. So finally, this is how our beautiful guitar neck looks like now. And what about today? Today we start the most challenging part of this full build. It will require a bit of woodwork experience, but more than that, it will require patience and tolerance to spray paint smell. So without further ado, let's jump straight to it. As mentioned in the planning of our project, I'll change the stock modern bridge for the vintage style Telecaster bridge, using the Wilkinson Telecaster ashtray bridge. For that, we'll need to do two customizations on our guitar body. The first one is the correction of the fixation screw holes itself, and the second and most complicated one is the adaptation of the body for the string-through body assembly. If you don't want to do that, it's fine also. The vintage ashtray bridge also allows you to anchor the guitar strings on it, but we know it can affect the sustain and tone of the guitar, so we'll need to plan the drilling, and later we'll also close the original screw holes, using the same method I have taught you in the previous episode. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can find it here in the card above. To do not damage our guitar body, I will use painting tape to create a base surface on which I can draw the position of the new holes. I will position my bridge on where it should be, guaranteeing that it's centered properly with the guitar neck pocket, and I will mark it with a pencil. Now we have a good template to drill our new holes. Now it is time to start putting hands on. I will drill the string through the body holes with a 4.5mm drill, and later we will need to prepare the pockets for the bushings on the opposite side. For the new fixation screws, I will use a 5mm drill, following the holes of the bridge. An important point to highlight at this time is, do not commit the same mistake I did here. Never, I said never, put any tool on top of the guitar body. The wood we are working here is really sensitive and soft, so any heavy thing you put on top can create dentings. You can see here the result of my mistake. Anyway, we can still solve it after we have coated it with the primer base paint. So if you already committed this mistake, stick with me and I'll show you later how you can solve it. Now we need to treat the other side of the guitar body so we can fit the string-through body bushings. Here you can see another consequence of the mono woodwork at the dining table. As much as I try to keep the drill perpendicular to the guitar body while drilling it, the holes for the string-through body are not in line on the other side. We'll try to compensate it a little when we'll be drilling the bigger bushing pocket holes. So for that, I have used a 9mm drill, and later I'll slowly increase the hole with the help of a Dremel to guarantee that we have the pressure fit with the bushings. Finally, we need to prepare the small undercut to let the bushings accommodate flush on the guitar back surface. Again, I will use the Dremel with this grinding tip, and step by step, I will create the undercut we need. Of course, if you would be working on a proper luthier workshop or on a woodworking tool shop, there would be much more efficient and even correct ways to do that. But remember, I am just like you, a guitar builder aspirant. And here we have it! Our holes are ready to have the bushings in after being painted. Are we done already? Not still. Before we move to the guitar body preparation for painting, we need also to close the original pickguard screw holes. As we decided to change for a Fender Style 1 instead of the original design by Harley Benton, we need to change the drilling. Is it a problem to keep it open? In theory, every single part of wood that stays raw and exposed would collect moisture, so it's not that much suggested. Anyway, for the sake of perfectionism, let's close it. We'll use the same method we have used for the tuner's original screw holes. Let's wait it to get dry and finally chop the excess out with a chisel. So there it is, we are ready to start the preparation for the body painting. The Harley Benton kit comes already with a lacquer film coat. which can be used already as a base primer for painting. Anyway, as I'm trying to do it better this time compared with previous projects I did, I'll show a little bit more of love on the body before I start lacquering. So at first, let's do an inspection of wood surface, looking for areas in which the wood can be a little bit more rough. This generally happens on the curves and hard access areas. It's natural, as those are massively produced kits by CNC machines. I will identify those areas, and with a really soft sanding mesh, I'll try to smoothen it out. I am using here the most rough one from the Guitar Finishing Micro Mesh Pads kit, which is the 1800 grit. You can find it in AliExpress or even at Thomann. I'll keep the link for it in the description. I am doing it in dry, as we want to remove just the rough areas and not to polish it. I will also take the opportunity to file a little bit the rough finishing of the sound hole. For that, I am using small nut adjustment files, as they are delicate enough to fit the sound hole shape without damaging. We are done, all good to go, so let's talk about our painting method. I have already painted kits with more rudimentary conditions, so I will this time take into consideration some lessons learned. The first thing is how to fix and position the guitar in order to avoid drops and empty areas. For that, I have concluded that hanging the guitar or placing it in a horizontal position doesn't work that well. So I will prepare a fake guitar neck on which we will use to handle our guitar while painting, and also clamping fixed it for drying. I have bought a simple wood piece in the local hardware store that would fit to our guitar neck pocket. It gave me enough robustness to hold the guitar while manipulating it. I will transfer the original fixation screw hole shape to the fake neck, and I will use the original screws to fix it on the opposite side. Be sure you keep the back surface 100% clean so it can take the full painting. Also, I'll mask the screw heads to avoid having lacquer on it. Finally, I'll mask the tip of the screws that appeared on the other side. Looks robust enough, so we'll start spraying our painting. Before, a tip. If you'll be using spray cans that are not specific for guitar painting, you need to change the spray nozzle to guarantee that you have control of the paint flow and shape. The traditional spray nozzles place the paint in a shape of a large O, which for us can be tricky when we are trying to have the most even and continuous cover of lacquer as possible. For this reason, I suggest you to replace it with red nozzles, which generate the flow in a triangular shape. This will make your spray work almost as an airbrush, making it more precise and avoiding over-lacquering some areas and keeping others empty. Another important tip is, the mist generated by majority of spray paints is toxic, so be sure to use protection for the eyes, breathing, hands, and also find a place with good ventilation. Now it's time to start spraying our guitar body. We'll start with a transparent base lacquer, which will work as a primer for our next layers. Notice that I start spraying it with a spray can pointed out of the body. This is to avoid generating drop spilling due to the initial flow. Once the can is throwing lacquer continuously, you can start moving it through the guitar body, guaranteeing you will cover all the surface in continuous speed. Do not worry if it will not cover 100% on the first layer. We will apply several layers exactly to avoid those issues. You need to always move in baby steps, as reworking drops and spills is much worse than spending time on small coating layers. For the sides, you can move the guitar body using the fake neck. Be sure you have properly applied on the curves of the guitar. Once it's done, time to fix it on the table and wait for it to dry. I'll clamp it again to the dining table, as I do not have where to put it. But I strongly encourage you to keep it in an area where people will not be in for some hours, as it releases a strong smell. Also guarantee that you will not keep it in a dusty or wet place. As we're still in winter here, the apartment is dry and warm enough to have a good lacquer cure. Time to go for a walk with the dog while our guitar lacquer cures. We'll wait 4 hours until the next layer. Yes, this is why I mentioned it will demand lots of patience. After 4 hours and gone sunlight, I applied the next layer following the same procedure. We have done it 4 times more, totalizing 6 layers of base coat, on which we should guarantee to have an even surface, without wood grain texture, and good fixation for the next shell pink layers. Now I would like to show you a trick that can be helpful for bringing back the dent marks on the wood, as the ones generated by the poor placement of tools while operating the guitar body preparation. To solve it, we'll use a piece of wet paper towel and a steam iron. You will make the surface a little bit wet and carefully iron the wet paper towel, pressing the region in which the dent is placed. The temperature and the absorption of the steam will make the wood slowly expand and go back to the original shape, making it easier later for you to sand excess and leveling back the surface. If you do not get 100% back, you need to make sure you cover it with enough layers of lacquer and later we'll sand it down, achieving a smooth surface. Pay attention while ironing the surface to do not overheat it, as it can damage your lacquer surface. After all of our base coat layer have cured properly, we start the next patience exercise. It's time to sand down the uneven surface of the lacquer base coats. When you turn your guitar body towards the light, you'll be able to see what we call the orange peel aspect, which is caused by the way that spray places the lacquer on the surface. Before we move to the next layers of shell pink lacquer, we need to sand this orange peel texture out, being careful to do not totally remove the base coat we have just applied. For this reason, I will use the micro mesh pads once again, but this time making them wet so we do not scratch the surface. Guarantee you have sanded all the guitar surface with lots of patience and without applying excessive pressure. Once it's done, you'll be able to find a more shiny surface, free of orange peel texture. This is your goal. When it's done, you are good to move for the colored lacquer coats. I believe we have done a lot until here, so we'll keep the final painting steps and the assembly of the guitar for the next episode of our series. I hope this content is being helpful to you somehow, so please let me know in the comments if you have additional questions or if you're finding different issues on your own DIY kit builds. As always, I would like to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you appreciate my content and you'd like to see more videos like this one. Consider also liking this video so YouTube will share it with a bigger audience. Now you can check out the previous episodes if you haven't done it yet. I'll catch you on the next. Keep on rocking!